My faithful child, listen closely as I speak these words of promise to your heart today. I see how you've sown in faith, how you've watered the ground with your tears, how you've waited with unwavering hope. I want you to know something profound. Your harvest is closer than you think. Remember all those seeds you've planted in faith. The prayers whispered in the dark, the sacrifices made in secret, the offerings given in trust. Not a single one has been forgotten. Not one has been wasted. Each carries within it a harvest greater than you can imagine. I see how you scan the horizon each morning, looking for signs of growth, searching for evidence of change. Your heart questions if anything is happening beneath the soil of circumstances. But just as surely as spring follows winter, your season of reaping is approaching. You may feel discouraged when others seem to harvest while you wait. But understand this, every seed has its appointed time. Your seeds of faith aren't dead. They're developing. They're not lost. They're growing. They're not forgotten. They're flourishing beneath the surface. Don't measure your harvest by what your eyes can currently see. Measure it by the faithfulness of the God who promised that seed time and harvest would never cease. That promise, it's still in effect. That law, it's still in force. That covenant, it's still active. I know there are days when doubt whispers that nothing will ever grow from your seeds of faith. But haven't I been faithful to every promise? Haven't I brought harvest from every properly planted seed? That same power that brings forth crops from tiny seeds is at work in your life, even stronger now. You see barren fields, but I see buried potential. You feel the weight of waiting, but I see the wonder of what's growing. You think nothing is happening, but beneath the surface, miracles are in motion. Those tears you've cried, they're watering your future harvest. Those prayers you've prayed, they're fertilizing fields of promise. And you, my faithful sower, have my word dwelling within you. Stop looking at the apparent delay. Look to my faithfulness, unchanging, unwavering, unshakable. When you feel discouraged, I am working. When you feel doubtful, I am developing. When you feel defeated, I am delivering your harvest. Your harvest isn't measured by current circumstances, but by covenant promises. It isn't limited by natural seasons, but released by supernatural faithfulness. It isn't determined by earthly timing, but by divine providence. Every seed you've sown is recorded in heaven. Every sacrifice is noted in my book. Every act of obedience is producing a harvest that will astound you when it appears. You are closer to harvest than you know. You are nearer to reaping than you realize. You are approaching abundance greater than you can imagine. Why? Because I, the Lord of the harvest, oversee your fields of faith. Let this truth take root deep in your heart. You were never meant to produce the harvest. Your role is to sow in faith. Mine is to bring forth the increase. In your waiting, my power is at work. Rise up, my faithful sower. Stand firm in the knowledge that heaven's resources back every seed you've sown. No sacrifice has been wasted. No tear has been worthless. No prayer has been forgotten. Your harvest is coming because I am faithful to my promises. Your abundance is approaching because my word cannot return void. Your multiplication is manifesting because my power backs every seed sown in faith. Stop seeing your field through the lens of time. See it through my eyes, ripe, ready, radiating with potential. The same power that multiplied 5 loaves and 2 fish is working in your field of faith. When the soil seems silent, remember, the greatest growth happens underground. When the field appears fallow, remember, roots must deepen before fruits can rise. When the wait feels endless, remember, every harvest has its appointed time. As you reflect on this truth, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to join our community of faith and inspiration. Think of Joseph, who sowed seeds of faithfulness in a prison cell. Those seeds seemed buried in darkness, yet they sprouted into palace prominence. Your seeds of faith may be hidden now, but they're developing something far greater than you can see. I see how you've sown in tears, how you've planted in pain, how you've watered with worship, even when your heart was heavy. Such seeds carry special weight in my kingdom. They produce harvests that astound, fruits that amaze, results that revolutionize. The enemy wants you to uproot your seeds of faith through doubt. He whispers that nothing is growing, nothing is changing, nothing is happening. But I tell you, beneath the surface, every seed is splitting open with life. Every root is reaching deeper. Every sprout is pressing upward. Your field isn't failing. It's filling with promise. Your ground isn't dead. It's developing destiny. Your soil isn't barren. It's birthing blessing. The silence you hear isn't absence. It's the sound of seeds breaking open with life. Remember how I fed thousands from a boy's lunch? That same multiplication anointing hovers over your field. Remember how I turned water into wine? That same transformation power works in your soil. Remember how I raised bread from heaven? That same provision principle applies to your seeds. Don't let seasons of silence shake your faith. Don't let delayed manifestation diminish your hope. Don't let extended waiting weaken your expectation. For just as surely as harvest follows planting, your season of reaping approaches. In my kingdom, no seed sown in faith goes unnoticed. The widow's mite multiplied into miracle provision. The alabaster box of worship produced perpetual remembrance. The simple act of giving a cup of cold water carries eternal reward. Your seeds of kindness, they're growing into forests of favor. Your seeds of mercy, they're multiplying into mountains of blessing. Your seeds of love, they're developing into oceans of abundance. Nothing planted in faith fails to produce in my kingdom. Every farmer understands this profound truth. The darkest soil often produces the richest harvest. Those seeds you've sown in your midnight hours, watered with tears of faith, they're developing into something far more glorious than morning could reveal. Think of how a single grain of wheat must fall to the ground and die before it produces many seeds. Your sacrifices of praise, your offerings in times of lack, your faithfulness in seasons of famine, these are transforming into testimonies that will feed multitudes. I see how others' instant harvests make you question your season of waiting. But remember, the most valuable crops often take the longest to mature. The olive tree's fruit, the vineyard's wine, the cedar's strength, these aren't produced in a day, but their harvest lasts for generations. The seeds you've sown in secret, I nurture in silence. Like a master vintner who knows exactly when the grapes are perfectly ripe, I watch over your harvest with precise care and perfect timing. What looks like delay to you is actually development in my hands. Your acts of obedience are like seeds carrying coded destiny within them. Just as an acorn contains an entire forest in its heart, your seeds of faith carry harvests beyond your imagination. Every prayer offered in trust, every gift given in love, every sacrifice made in obedience, these are spiritual DNA carrying unlimited potential. Don't measure your coming harvest by the size of your seed. The mustard seed's smallness didn't limit its growth into the greatest of garden plants. Your seemingly small acts of faithfulness are growing into testimonies that will shelter others in their shade. The enemy tries to make you doubt in the waiting, to make you question in the silence, to make you waver in the watching. But I tell you, the harvest you can't yet see is more real than the doubt you can feel. The fruit you can't yet touch is more certain than the fear that tries to clutch your heart. Remember how Ruth's faithfulness in the fields led to her place in royal lineage? How David's tending of sheep prepared him for shepherding a kingdom? Your seasonal faithfulness, your daily diligence, your constant cultivation, these are preparing you for harvests beyond your boldest prayers. In my kingdom, harvest operates on higher principles than earthly agriculture. Your seeds of faith aren't bound by natural seasons or limited by physical conditions. They're empowered by eternal promises, energized by divine power, established by covenant faithfulness. The waiting between sowing and reaping tests the depth of faith, but it also proves the certainty of my promise. Like a master gardener who knows exactly when the fruit is perfectly ripe, I'm watching over every seed you've sown with loving attention and perfect wisdom. Your harvest isn't just about provision, it's about purpose. Every seed you've planted carries within it not just increase, but influence. Not just abundance, but authority. Not just supply, but significance. I'm not just growing crops, I'm cultivating calling. I'm not just producing fruit, I'm preparing future. Think of how Esther's years of preparation preceded her moment of destiny. How Moses' decades in the wilderness watered seeds of leadership. Your season of waiting isn't wasted time. It's preparation time. It's not delay. It's development. It's not punishment. It's positioning. The seeds of your midnight prayers are sprouting into morning miracles. The seeds of your secret worship are growing into public wonders. The seeds of your faithful service are developing into kingdom dominion. What looks small in your hands becomes mighty in mine. Don't let the enemy's whispers of doubt make you dig up in unbelief what you planted in faith. The farmer doesn't uncover his seeds daily to check their progress. Your constant questioning doesn't speed the harvest. It only disturbs the soil of promise. Your harvest is as sure as my faithfulness, as certain as my word, as guaranteed as my character. Every tear you've sown will be reaped in joy. Every sacrifice offered will return multiplied. Every seed planted in obedience will produce supernatural increase. The silence of the soil doesn't mean the absence of growth. The greatest miracles often begin in unseen places. Like a baby being formed in the hidden place of the womb, your harvest is taking shape in ways your natural eyes cannot yet perceive. Stand firm in this season of expectation. Your harvest isn't just coming, it's growing. It isn't just approaching, it's developing. It isn't just future, it's forming. Every day brings you closer to manifestation, nearer to multiplication, closer to demonstration. Remember this truth. You're not just waiting for harvest, you're becoming harvest. Every test of patience produces stronger roots. Every trial of faith develops sweeter fruit. Every season of waiting increases capacity for greater blessing. Rise up in faith today. Stand tall in expectation. Walk forward in confidence. For your harvest is coming, not because of your perfect planting, but because of my faithful promise. Not because of your flawless faith, but because of my unfailing faithfulness. Let this final truth settle deep within your spirit. Your harvest is as sure as my throne is established, as certain as my word is true, as guaranteed as my love is eternal. Keep sowing, keep believing, keep expecting. For the harvest you've hoped for, prayed for, and waited for is closer than you think. Trust in this promise, rest in this assurance, walk in this certainty. For your harvest is coming, my faithful sower. Your harvest is surely coming. Amen.